Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of BHD Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Baxter, and tonight we have a very special guest with us, someone that's near and dear to my heart. He's been my role model since day one. He's had many years managing, coaching with youth in growing up in the Halifax area. A guy that I can't say enough good things about, and has been a truly inspirational person in my life. I'd like to welcome to the show my dad, Paul Baxter. Welcome to the show, Pops.
Well, thanks very much, Sonny, and really glad to be here, AD and Himmy in the sunny confines of California. And First of all, congrats on your BHD Sports Podcast. It's great, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. We're really happy to have you on. I mean, you have such a huge part in all three of our lives. Like, there's a reason why everybody calls you Father Cheetah. You've been a staple around the rinks. You've been the heart and soul of Cheetahs hockey for forever now, really. Like when Chris played, from when I played, till we all coached together. Even with Danny on the other side, he still loves you. So even being a Millwood Knight and all.
If that doesn't say something about the character of Paul Baxter, I don't know what else will. If a Millwood Knight is willing to admit that he loves this man, you're doing something right, Pops. So
we're still not even sure if Danny likes us yet. So
there you go, Dan.
So my first question for you, Pops, and honestly, I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but when did you develop your love for sports and helping athletes?
Oh, well, gee, I've always loved sports. I guess I started off like most kids did. I always played sports. I played, strangely enough, hockey and basketball, volleyball, soccer, lacrosse, football even. Loved to play tennis. So I always saw the merits of sports, especially team sports. And I saw how that helped shape me and some of my characters. So I guess that was what the attraction, and simply put, I wasn't that good of an athlete. So I'm not like Himmy that's traveled all over the world. So instead of continuing to play, I kind of went into the management side, if you want to put it that way. And I helped out, strangely enough, when I was taking my MBA degree at St. Mary's. My classmate was Brian Heaney, who was the coach of the St. Mary's basketball team. That was back in 1972, I think it was. And so he asked me to help him out with the St. Mary's basketball team, and sort of became co-manager of the team. And it sort of started off there. And I guess I've always sort of done volunteer work as Chris, you and Jillian and Michael were growing up. So helping out on hockey teams, whether that was managing or something like on a soccer or something like that. So, and after we moved back from living in Montreal and Vancouver, we moved back and I got involved in Bedford Minor Hockey Association. So Bedford District Minor Hockey Association. And so I spent probably 6 or 7 years in the association volunteering and, as manager with the team, but I also got involved with the association executive as the treasurer, and eventually served 2 years as president. So, and then back in 2005, Chris, when you became a Cheetah, I got involved. My first year there was when you got involved, and I've been involved ever since. So that's kind of the history.
That's so cool, Pops. That's
awesome.
That's a really, really cool to hear your full journey. And obviously sports, you really instilled that on me, because right from day one, sports, I saw the beauty in it, and I really saw the value of, not only the sport itself, but creating those relationships with your peers and your role models, and just how influential sports can be to someone's life. And you instilled that in me right from the get-go, and I can't thank you enough for that. So that's an awesome answer.
That's good. Yeah.
No, really cool to get the whole history of it all. Those 1970 St. Mary's basketball teams were pretty good. They won a national championship during that time, didn't they?
That was the year. I'm not so sure that Brian Heaney really wanted me to help out or just help him out during some of the assignments in MBA school. So I kind of helped him during the assignments, and he wanted me to help him out in the team. So it
you
kind
scratch of his back, he'll scratch yours, kind of a thing,
yeah,
Bob?
that kind of a thing, exactly.
Well, we know where the winning championship management came from, because the photos are littered around the school of those 70 SMU basketball teams back in the day. Like they were a powerhouse.
I was a little thinner and not so much gray hair at that time,
Oh my. So Dad, that kind of brings me into my next question is, what's the most rewarding part of being a manager for you? Like, what would you say of the Cheetahs or of the SMU basketball team? What's kind of the most rewarding part for you?
Well, in all honesty, that's an easy question for me, Chris, and it's not the obvious or the expected answer about, team results and success. And I'll talk specifically about CPA because it's really been where my focus has been for the last 17 years, I guess. And even Denny would probably admit, as much as he might choke on saying it, but CPA Cheetahs have been one of the more successful Division I high school hockey teams over the past number of years.
Can I hear Denny say that? This is recording, correct? Yes.
But you know what? I'm not ashamed to agree. I'm not ashamed to agree. Like,
yeah, but we've won lots of banners and we've had a great winning percentage and stuff like that. But for me, the most rewarding part, in all honesty, with the Cheetahs is see how the program that we've kind of mutually developed over time is, how it's been a positive influence, I guess, in the personal growth of the players that have been involved. And, I've had the honor and privilege to work with some really great coaches, and, Jack Abraham and Gary Herbert and Kevin Waugh, and assistant coaches like you, Chris, and Himmy, and Mike Horwich, Billy Comer, Jeff Arkin, and a whole bunch that I can't even remember all their names. And we've had great teacher liaisons, Andrew Woodsy, and Thornton, Ryan Thornton, and Sean Young, and Jordan Murphy, and now Sean O'Coin. And we've had great support from Principal Bird, Stephanie Bird, who's been a rock in supporting the program through pretty well the entire time that I've been there. Jeff Lewis, I think, was principal at the beginning, and then Principal Bird came along, and great ADs with Steve Harris and a number of others who were always assistant, and great team staff. Chris Bowers has been awesome, Rob McKinley, Cal Goss, Dave Woods, Mike McDonald, Brian Tomey, a whole bunch of others, and I'm probably not doing service to all of the people that I can't remember off the top of my head, but they've all contributed to the success of the program. But and so that's been rewarding for me, is to work with really caliber people like that. But having said that, I think the most compelling thing or the most rewarding aspect, I guess, is the time that I've been able to mentor. I added them up one time, and I think the number's up to it's about 76, 78 players that have gone through the program in the time that I've been there. And so I've been lucky enough to get to know all those kids over the 17 years and watch them grow as individuals and learn life skills. And that, I think, is the most important thing of what a team sport can be. And, we talk about the Cheetah family, and the family is much more than game results. And in fact, I always look at winnings and losses is the output of everything that all the effort that you put in. And that's not really what the Cheetah family represents. You guys have probably heard me say this many times, but I have this saying that I say to all my Cheetah sons: it's not the outcome that's important, it's what you do trying to achieve that outcome that will truly distinguish you. And so that's a lesson that we learn or try to instill with kids. And I think if that effort and determination is there, the outcome comes along as a byproduct of that. So the wins and losses aren't what you focus on. The wins and losses will come when you do all the right things in a program and you get kids to buy in, and we've been lucky to do that. So the stats are not really what will distinguish a program, even if they're good-looking stats kind of a thing. So
that's awesome. Very well said, Pops. And so my next question, and you talked a little bit about it there. I know obviously all the great relationships that you've made with your time with the Cheetahs and other teams, and just obviously the relationships that you build and the importance of those in your life, to have those bonds and those relationships.
Yep.
How has sport really impacted other aspects of your life, whether it be work or your family life? How is the lessons that you've learned from sport affected those other areas?
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing that I try to instill, or that the program tries to instill with kids, is that those skills or values that you instill in sports are transferable to other aspects of your life, and you learn them over time, but they stay with you. They don't reside with the Cheetah program, or they don't reside with hockey. I see Himmy as successful as he has, and a lot of these things come back, and it's all about respect, and it's all about hard work, and it's all about never giving up. And those three values we try to instill with our kids in the program, and we really think that when they internalize those and they recognize the value in those values, then it's not just about sport, and it's not just about hockey. They're transferable to your work, to your relationships. I've used them all the time at work and relationship, raising my three great kids, one of which is on here, but and even the relationship that I have with friends like Denny and other kids. So you treat people with respect. You work hard, and the one thing that we never do is ever give up. And I think if you have those values in life, whatever you're going to do, you're going to be successful. And really, the big measuring stick for us isn't about success. It's about do the kids that are part of our program have fun while they're learning some of those lessons, because it's not meant to be something that's a painful process to learn. It's meant to be fun, and quite honestly, we think that having a fun program and enjoying yourself actually enhances the learning experience, if I can put it that way. And so you need to love the sport, which most kids do. Although we've had a lot of kids who have come back to hockey with bad experiences elsewhere, and we've been able to reinstill the love for the sport that they have. But if you do those three things and you model those and build them into your life, we think you'll be successful in whatever you're choosing to do.
That's great, Pops. That's so important, and I think that's awesome that you have that perspective. And that kind of leads to my next question. And we talk about building the relationships with these players, and one thing that that has been so crucial in building that family environment is the Cheetah for Life motto. So how did you kind of come up with the Cheetah for Life motto, Pops?
Well, we really came up with something like that, and it was, I would say it probably started on the fact that I don't like having to say goodbye to kids at the end of the program. So whether it was a first-year kid, a second-year kid, or someone that had been there for 3 years, and we've had impact players in all situations. But part of it is, they're going to finish their high school career, and at that point, it's like, oh, okay, you're moving on. We have to say goodbye. So the Cheetah for Life concept came about for two reasons. One was to avoid me having to say goodbye, because effectively you're part of the Cheetah family forever. So you never have to say goodbye. So you always get to come back, and you're always going to be welcome, and you're always a contributing alumni. And we have a ton of kids that do that. And so that was my own selfish motive behind it. But the other thing is to really get the concept aside. And it goes to those values that we talked about. And it's not that the program is meant to be life skills that you learn just for the 3 years or 2 years or 1 year that you're in as a Cheetah. And in other words, we want to mentor you. We want you to learn life skills, and those are to last for the rest of your life. And so that's the Cheetah for Life. So it's really Cheetah values that I want to keep for the rest of my life. So we have that acronym of C4L, Cheetah for Life, and we use it a lot. And we put that on the graduating gift of a player's jersey, and that's put on their arm to remind them that, hey, don't forget those values. Don't forget your brothers. Don't forget the fun that you had in the Cheetah program. And that's going to last for a long time. So that's kind of the story behind the Cheetah for Life.
That's awesome, Paul.
That's absolutely awesome, Paul. Like, Cheetah for Life is something that really like stuck with me forever. Like, I like as a player, it really was the most fun hockey I've been a part of. Like, just everything about it, like the way how everything's organized, everything's looked after for you. Like, the amount of personal growth that I had in my 2 years as a player there. One thing that you and Jack always like instilled in me, which really like stuck with me right away, because I ended up getting benched in the home opener, was you got to be smart enough to know when to
discipline.
be stupid.
Jimmy, discipline.
Yes, I think I led my team in penalty minutes every single year growing up. And I mean, even when I played SMU lacrosse, I think I led the league twice in penalties. But the one thing that really like stuck in with me was that, and my penalty minutes went in half over between my grade 11 year to my grade 12 year. I think other than that suspension, which Jack has forgiven me for, I only had 5 penalties in my grade 12 year. And I remember in Pee Wee, there were some games where I would have like 5-6 minutes every single game. I don't know. I had to be scrappy to make up with my size some way. But like even the year after I graduated, like, oh, I want to go watch tryouts. I want to be in there right away. And then like the first year I was able to like be on the bench. I was like, I want to be a part of this for as long as I can. And I was very fortunate and lucky to have like 3 awesome years behind the bench. And not just that, but like, I know that no matter what I do, where I'll be, I'll always have the Cheetah family, like with me, no matter what. And like, not only that, it's like, Chris is one of my best friends. You are too, Adam. Like, Paul, like, you've always been a father figure to me, like, as like Father Cheetah, like you've been like, just for not just me, but for everybody who's gone through the program. Like, it's your impact that you've made. Like, words can't really describe like how, like you saw 170 like kids,
176
176 over like the 17 years. Like, that's a lot of lives that have been impacted for the better, and for all positive too. Like, I mean, the first thing you say in the dressing room when we're getting our uniforms, they say, I don't know how many uniforms, there's 5 jerseys now. I think that's the coolest thing. You walk into a dressing room, you got 5 uniform kits. It's like, all right, we're balling. Thanks, Gary, for that one. But you say that this will be the funnest hockey you will ever play.
Right.
And we don't talk about anything about winning off the start, or like, it just starts off with that this will be the most fun hockey you will be a part of.
Yeah. And you know what? There's nothing really unique. I would basically say, I look at Adam and he's a knight true and true, right? But underneath that knight exterior, he's got the same values that a Cheetah for Life has, which is treat people with respect, work hard, and never give up. And so I know he it might be second, but it's a close second that the Cheetah values still reside with Denny too. I can tell just you know, I can't even remember the first time we met, AD, but it probably 10 years ago or whatever it was. But I knew that. So thanks, Himi, for those kind words.
Yeah, and everything from like making sure that you say thank you to everybody either in the restaurant, on the road, or the hotel, like to the tournament organizing staff. I know I always said thank you to whoever made the chili at the Cheetah Challenge, because I would, between me and Gary looking for every hospitality room and soup at every single tournament. I'm sure that the Cheetah budget food bill has gone in half since I've stepped off the bench.
Yeah. You had to say hi, Himi, because you ate so much. That's all.
I think the first time I met you, Paul, is when I think it might have been the year you guys won your first title.
Okay.
In Sackville.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We
beat Memorial. Yeah.
Hashtag barn burner, but you know, that's okay. The first time I met you, Paul, was actually probably that year at the Cheetah Challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, you had to introduce yourself. You know, I'm the manager of CPL, and I was, you know, I met most of the managers, I think, that week, actually, and I said, no, that's the kind of guy you want on your squad, because just the way you came up, introduced yourself, and the thing I liked was you were so professional about it too. Like it was just like, wow. Hope I cross paths with him again sometime.
And it comes natural to him too, AD, doesn't it, bud? Like he just goes about his day, and he's a natural. He really is.
I don't know about that, but I can still be pretty cranky. Ask Himi. He knows.
I've seen it on a couple times. I think the one time where I really, really saw it was when we were in Montreal and our plane got canceled.
Oh god.
And oh my goodness, and now I always admired and like had a lot of respect for like how you were able to organize everything from itineraries to like room assignments, making sure to bus, all that stuff. Like I really got to appreciate that as a coach, like seeing that, like how much time and effort and organization it goes into that. But wow, the fact that you got us home from that Montreal trip when every single plane was canceled on the way home, and we had the bus and everything, and then the Cobblequid Pass being closed in Fredericton, and my goodness, I couldn't even imagine like how many thoughts were going through your head too.
Well, I can look back. It's funnier to think about now. It wasn't so funny at the time. It was sort of like,
I couldn't imagine.
Oh my, that was quite the trip for sure. Oh man. And Adam, I'm gonna let you take over, buddy. I know you're chomping at the bit to ask Paulie some questions, buddy. Why don't you fire off your first question of the night, my friend?
Paul, 2013 was a special year for you.
Yeah.
You had both Mike was a player on the Cheetahs that year.
Yeah.
And Chris was a coach, and you guys pulled off the, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 5-2 win over Citadel in the provincial final.
You got
it. To have both your kids win a championship together and you be the manager with that team, that must have had some kind of special meaning to it.
Oh, Dan, you don't realize how much it was, and so I think at that point I would have been that would have been my 7th year, I guess, 8, maybe 7, 8 years in the program. But of the 17 years that I've been involved, that was probably the most special year. And you know, Chris he was a Cheetah in grade 10, 11, and 12. Michael worked super hard. Didn't try out in grade 10, tried out in grade 11, didn't make the team. And we had a really good team in grade 11. You would remember that, Den. We actually lost in the provincials to your Knights in probably who would have been probably I would consider one of the top 5 teams, if not top 3 teams that I've ever seen play high school hockey in the year before. And then Michael made the team in grade 12. So I was really, really happy to have that. And it was kind of weird because we kind of covered all 3 levels. Like I was manager and Chris was a coach and Michael was a player. And you're right, we ended up winning it all that year. We fell behind Citadel 2-0 in provincials in Sydney and came back and ended up winning that game 5-2. And it was actually, statistically speaking, the best Cheetah team that I've ever been involved with. I think our record was 59 wins and not 57 wins, sorry, and 9 losses. We played in 5 tournaments and won all 5 of the tournaments that we were in. We won the league and we won provincials and like I say, so from my perspective, that was one of the best Cheetah teams of all time. And to have Chris involved and have Michael involved and to win provincials a year after your Knights beat us, AD, it made it really special. And so, and as a matter of fact, then you know what? Both times we've been to provincials 8 times in my tenure, and we won 6 and we lost 2, and both of the 2 that we lost were to your Knights. So I'm not so sure I want to answer any more of your questions.
So basically, Dad, if we're the New England Patriots, the Millwood
He's
Knights
the New York Giants.
They're the Giants, right?
They're the Giants. That's it.
Those pesky Giants, man.
That's it.
Oh.
Friggin' Eli.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eli. If not, Brady would have 9 Super Bowls now. We'd never hear the end of it. Like,
Yeah,
I'm a Boston fan through and through when it comes to hockey and baseball, but for football, nah, I can't stand it.
Well, Paulie's not either. Paulie's a Finns fan, right? So he's not exactly
it's been a
Dolphins fan. Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's been a long time, but AD, we should have won the first time that you guys beat us, and that was in Yarmouth. We had a better team and you had a better goalie, but that year that you guys beat us in 2011, 2012, that was an incredibly strong Millwood Knights team, and you guys deserved to win. We were lucky to make it to the final, but you guys were clearly a better team. So all congrats to you guys. I remember Larry Marchand, I think, was the coach that year and for a couple of years. So, and he had some power. He had some powerhouses with Millwood in those early years. So.
And I tell you another thing too, that personally, you were saying about the 2013 was the best Cheetahs team.
Yeah,
I think that 2017-18 team was the close second. Yeah,
you're absolutely right, AD. That was another strong team, and I'm not big on sort of, trying to rank teams or rank players. I look at, there was kids on teams that contributed so much, and that excelled at the at the beginning of the year, and some excelled all year, and some excelled in playoffs, and it's it's a team sport, so you look at team success, and you look at Jack used to say, we'll we win as a team, we'll lose as a team, and whichever way whether we win or whether we lose, we never lose sight of those values of playing with respect, and that, as Himmy said, that respect carries over to players on the ice, officials, the rink attendants that are there, or a waitress at a restaurant on the way to a tournament or whatever, or somebody that has to come in and make the beds at the hotel rooms that we're staying at. work hard and never ever give up. So
I think that's so important too, Pops. Like just being a genuine person to people, whether it's someone that's, whether it's the person that makes your coffee in the morning or whether it's someone that helps you. If you are nice to people, they will want to return the favor and they'll want to be genuine with you. So right. I think that's an awesome answer. So thank you for sharing that one.
No problem.
I know I see a lot of what you do, Paul, but well, what's like game day operation type? What's your
rituals?
The rituals. He's a creature of habit, boys.
I
He's
am.
A creature of habit.
Do you have like the game day routine type thing?
Yeah, you know what I do, Den, and it's funny. I actually can sit back and laugh at it right now because I'm sure there was times that Jack and I were involved for 10 years, and Jack's a pretty laid back guy, and he would let me do all of that crazy stuff. Like I'm a nervous person when it comes to games. I get fidgety and I'm this and that, and what did I forget? What did I do? And Jordan Murphy used to make fun of me because I have my Fitbit on, and he would, but let me see what your heart rate's doing right now, and we'd be watching.
I remember your sitting heart rate in Cape Breton at provincial. Like your sitting heart rate during that semifinal game is what my heart rate is when I'm warming up to go paddle, like just before I'm about to go start a steady paddle, and you're sitting down.
I know, but in all honesty, you're in shape, and I haven't been in shape since a long time, but I do get pretty worked up about that, and probably the bigger the game, the more anxious I do get about it. But for me, the ritual is all about preparation, because what I want is for the coaches and for the players, because they're the ones that really are the ones that they should just have to focus on playing the game, mentally being prepared, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all about trying to get there early, have things set up, look after all of those details. And it's kind of my nature. It's the work that I do is being detail oriented and stuff like that. And that's probably what drove Jack crazy. And I'm sure there was times that he probably wanted to get rid of me over those 10 plus years. But I would say I would be anal retentive over details and trying to make sure everything is right, whether that's how a player looks or being prepared for a game. So I tend to get a little bit cranky if some of those things don't get if they don't get addressed properly. And at times I think I have OCD in terms of making sure that all those details, but the thought process behind it is look after all that preparations, make it fun for the players, give the coaches a chance to focus on what they need to do. A coach shouldn't have to worry about, is the timekeeper here? Is security there? Who's, are the refs here? Who's done the game sheet and stuff like that? That's my role. Neither should the players. So, you take a great guy like Chris Bowers working with me, we look after all of those small details. If they break the snap on their helmet 6 times a year, we'll make sure that it gets fixed and stuff. So I guess it's probably that, AD, it's trying to be prepared, trying to be ready for everything that could possibly go wrong, and setting the stage for really the important ones, coaches, and most importantly, players, to be able to have the limelight, the spotlight, go out, have some fun, and see what the results are going to be. So that's kind of game day for me.
That's so awesome, man.
That is awesome. I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Great question though, Adam, because we get to see Paul Baxter on a game day, and it's a whirlwind ride, but somehow at the end of it,
you don't mess up, but you don't mess with Paul and his rituals.
No.
I remember the last Cheetah game that I went to go see, everybody's even got an order where they sit on the corner.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Bowers has to be here, Murph has to be here. It's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Murph will even try and mess with you sometimes and step one way or the other.
Yeah.
You keep Murph in line there, but Yeah, I remember the first time I really saw the rituals was when I'm talking about said suspension in my grade 12 year.
Yeah.
And I'm there having the watch and sit, and I'm like, wow, Paul, you do this every single game.
Yeah. And that's the thing I can remember, AD, you brought up about the time that we won provincials. The first time in a long time we beat Memorial 2-0 over at the Sackville Arena. And Woodsy, Andrew Woods was the teacher liaison. And it's a dangerous combination, sort of being superstitious and having this kind of, got to follow the rituals, because at that point, once you find something that works, and it's who was sitting where and who was sitting next to who, and it starts to rub off on everyone. Like Woodsy was just like, I forget, another teacher showed up and he's like, you can't sit there. No, you can't. And the guy was looking at it, he was saying, why? And he goes, because you just can't sit there. You can go over there. This seat is for this person, that seat's for them. So it's
yeah, got to get comfortable right away.
You got to be comfortable, bud. And Murph, Jordan knew that too well, and he would mess around, but he was, he eventually learned the power that, don't mess with rituals. They're on your side and you'll have lots of success. So
oh my, that's too good. Oh my.
Yeah.
Here's my Cheetah claim to fame.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 2013.
Yep.
Millwood's playing CP Allen. Final Four tournament.
Yep.
And Andrew Foster scores.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. I love the kid.
Yeah.
And I forgot it was CP Allen's home game.
Okay.
We're at the Sackville Arena. I'm all screwed up because the tournament, whatever.
Yeah.
And Foster scores, and I'm looking, saying, "Yeah!" Like, because I, being in the Sackville Arena, hear the goal horn going off. Thought Millwood may score. Brian Thornton says, "You realize CP Allen just scored, right?" I said, listen, at this point, I don't even care. I said, at this point in the game, it's 5-2. I said, I don't even care now. Like,
yeah.
It's the third period. Game's over.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
I am so glad we got all of this recorded.
I know, right? I know.
This is awesome. This is making me smile.
Yeah, Denny's gonna edit it all out after, aren't you, AD? You're gonna I'm gonna cut that part out.
He is our tech guru, so I'm sure he has the ability to.
Well,
yeah.
I think this is going to be our little clip-it that we're going to put as the sample when we post the video up on this.
There you go.
Denny admits that he longtime Millwood Knight is a secret Cheetah fan. That's the highlight. That's going to be the video title right there.
Yeah.
I always told my boys that, Chris is like my Chris and Hemi are like my big brothers, and they're on the opposition. And I said, if you guys let these guys win, I am not going to hear the end of it for a month. I said no. I would say no. Get your ass out there and at least make a game out of it.
Exactly.
There you go.
Oh my, we've had some great battles with you though, Denny. There's been some that you've been on the better side of too, right? And I think that's the beauty of all of our relationship, and the beauty of the high school league is, it's just a bunch of great guys trying to better some youth. And I think, at the end of the day, we just want everyone to grow as people, and I think that's so important for all of the athletes in the league and in the sport and in all the sports, right? You just want to see them grow and see them try to work towards their goals. And I think that's the main goal for me anyway, is just just to see them work hard, and hopefully it pays off, right?
Yep.
That's how all four of us have so much respect for one another, and among the league and around the rinks, is we all have the same values in that sense.
Exactly.
But Paul, I know we're running out of time here soon. There's one question I really want to get in, because you've worked with the high school group for 7. Like, what's your favorite part about working with that like high school age group? Like, that's such a kind of a developmental age for so many people. Like, I know how much I grew in high school, not only physically, but from like a confidence standpoint and so forth. Just what's your favorite part about working like with that age range?
Yeah, it's simple. I mean, being able to make a difference, right? You try to, I've mentioned the word mentor, and what you try to do is pass along some of those things that you've learned, and some of them have been learned through hard lessons, and some of them have been learned through other lessons that weren't as hard, but you try to pass those along, and instill some of those values with kids. And it's funny, I've been around long enough now that players that that used to be on the team are married now, and they have kids, and hopefully, in my mind, that they've learned some of those values. And as Cheetah for Life continues, that will contribute in making them a better husband and a better father. And so that's some of the things. And what's really painful is some of the kids that are on the team now weren't even born when I first started. So, you kind of go around, and it's like, oh yeah, when were you born? Oh, 2007. And it's like, oh, well, that was 2 years after I started doing this. And so now I know how old I am, but that's I guess I'm old enough to know what's right and wrong, and what you try to do is just leave that impression with kids. And meeting all those Cheetah sons that I have over the years, it's exciting, and it helps me keep young, I guess. If nothing else, it forces me to adapt and how to be relevant. I still haven't garnered all of the social media stuff, and some of it
do you know what TikTok is?
Oh yeah.
He's on the TikTok, aren't you, Paul?
No, I will watch it, but you'll never probably get me on TikTok. So, but yeah, so that's probably the biggest thing in me is, why do I like being part of it? The kids are old enough that you can say stuff to them and they internalize it. And that's nothing against younger kids, but sometimes it's hard to get them to understand. And high school kids are at that perfect age. And it's tough being a high school kid now. There's so much stuff that you have to worry about. So it's to try to give them an opportunity, like, I don't want to say safe haven, because it's not that, it's not meant to be that bad, but it's a place where they can go and they can have fun and they can learn life skills. And, it isn't kind of a threatening environment. And so that's what, if I can make a difference that way, that's really the favorite part for me about high school.
Couldn't have put it any better, Pops.
Yeah, that's very well said.
And so that's everything for tonight. And Pops, just want to thank you on behalf of the whole BHD Sports Podcast family. Thank you so much for coming on tonight and spending your night with us. We love you, and you inspire us every day. And so thank you. And we hope to have you back on at some point. And really appreciate you taking the time, Pops. We love you.
No problem.
Yeah, love you, Paul. You're the man. Your father Cheetah for a reason.
Okay, well, thank you.
Love you, Paul.
Love you too. But and there's a lesson. Put that on your podcast. Never be afraid to tell kids that you love them, whether it's your own kids or kids on a team. I say that to the kids all the time. Remember who loves you. When we're on the road and I'm making sure they're in the room, so I'll say,
Paulie loves you.
Exactly. That's the thing. And don't ever be afraid to tell kids that, because I think that's a real important piece of what we try to do. And sorry, I rambled on some of those questions too long.
But, no, I mean, like your insight, your stories, your experience, all of it. We love hearing all of it.
Well, we'll see you. Himmy, enjoy yourself down there. Hopefully you're putting a number 30 sunscreen on when you're out there.
Oh, I got the SPF 50. I'm as pasty as it gets around here. Oh my goodness. I walk the first day I walked into the canoe club here, and I mean, here they paddle year round, where we have winter at home. We can't do that. And they're like, oh, this is a nice Canadian summer day. And I'm like, look at me. I look like Casper.
Yeah.
Like, I actually got a little bit cooked on Friday. I got a little sunburnt there, and I'm like, oh, is this going to turn into? I don't tan. I turn into like a medium rare steak. Like I'll like tan a little on the outside, but I just stay pink for the whole year.
There you go.
Too funny. Well, I know Himmy wants to go hit up the beach there and get some surfing in. But thank you, everyone.
It's not even 5 o'clock. I still got to make supper and everything. It's crazy that it's like 4 hours ahead of everything here. The time change is what really throws me off more than anything. Like,
yeah.
But thank you so much for tuning in.
No problem.
This
guys.
is episode
Thank you so much,
5
Paul.
of BHD Sports Podcast. Thank you and have a great day.